What's going on? Welcome back to week 3 of the Golden Cap podcast season 2. There's been a couple good matches this past week. In case you didn't watch, that's why we're here. We're going to talk about them, talk about how the standings changed, at least in our minds and in reality. And I'm here with Dolphin. What's up?
Hello. How's it going, Marmalou?
Doing good, you know. I saw a couple of the games we casted. I think at least I casted one of them. I remember. Which one even was that? I don't.
It
Was
was
it
the
Global?
Sandblast ones, right? On Tuesday?
Yeah, it was. Okay, yeah. Yeah, those were surprisingly good, at least for.
Mm-hmm.
I expected Morning Light to do worse against Freddy. They did better, and I expected Global Clan to do worse, and they did better than I thought. But I guess this is where we start getting into it. The first match we got here is Witness Gaming versus Froyo, which was a 5-0 on Snakewater.
Yeah, so let me just take a look at this. So we put in our prediction. We thought it was going to be 5-1, 5-0. And of course, Froyo just pulling out with a quick 5-0 against Witness. Not much to say. You know, my boy Sin Karma didn't really pull out as many good plays as I thought he might against Froyo, but there's always next time. But I mean, it's just another simple 5-0 for Froyo against a low invite team. Not much to say about it.
Yeah,
Unless
17 minutes. There really is nothing to say. I think that was probably the most dominant thing you'd probably have,
Mm-hmm.
if anything. Maybe even faster. I think they had a fast one last season. But first match happened. Nothing really unexpected. Next match was the Global Clan versus Wonderwall, which was on Gully Wash. It was a 5-1 for Wonderwall. I forget if I actually saw this, but from what I see, the mids were split, and you'll see in the future, Global Clan's mids, at least in a future match, looked amazing on this map, which I'm pretty surprised that it was pretty close. But overall, looking at the stats, because I don't think anybody cast this game, maybe not, but
I don't
Caps,
think so.
great game, and I think overall,
Yeah.
everyone played pretty well.
I mean, Cap's coming out with KD of 3, which is pretty impressive, even for him. You know, most of these rounds, the first one was a really long one. It was about 17 minutes until somebody capped last, and then the other ones kind of rolled through. They had like 90-second ones, 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 4 minutes. So I feel like after that first round, you know, the team Wonderwall kind of got into their groove and just kind of rolled them the rest, you know. So that's pretty much it from this round. But the next one, Witness Gaming versus Corsia, 5-0 for Corsia, as well, neither of us guessed it. You guessed 5-2 for Corsia. Had a little bit more faith. I had a little bit more faith in Witness.
You put 3-1.
I thought it was gonna be 3-1. I thought my boy Sin Karma was gonna pull out, but I don't think he did too bad in the match. You know, 10-10 with the 5-0, you wouldn't really be able to tell, I don't think.
They lost every mid too. Like that's every
Yeah.
mid 22-minute game.
Yeah, the longest round was about 6 minutes, so it was kind of a roll, but you know, I don't want to talk more about it because my guess was way off.
You gotta have faith. I appreciate it.
I know, but let's move on to the next one anyways. Morning Light versus Freya. What did you see when you watched it?
Yeah, so it was a doubleheader. I think we casted both of them. This one overall, I think it was closer than the scoreline says. It definitely still would have been was a 5-1, but I think it was more back and forth than you'd expect in a game like this with a scoreline like this. Players that really went off. Sandblast 38-18, really doing well, and yeah, they opened up with a round, and they had a couple back and forth moments, but overall, Froyo, you know, being as consistent as they are, meds dying left and right a lot of the times in these fights. But yeah, overall, I think it was a good show to really show that they're no slouch on 5CP. Maybe Koth just isn't their thing, especially on Clear Cut, where a couple of these guys haven't played it, but they definitely show they know what their stuff on a more standard map.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to be touching on that on the one versus Corsia, talking about 5CP, their strength. But, you know, in this match, one thing that I always observed on mids, you know, Morning Light had double soldier bombs like every mid, and like you would expect Fury to get it, but it never really seemed like they just jumped in and did nothing. They always kind of got some work done on these mids, and that kind of says something about the team on 5CP. They might not have good mids on like Koth, but I think going through the season, they're just going to get more and more comfortable on 5CP. And because it's so easy to just outright ban King of the Hill, I think they're going to be doing better than I think we expected.
Yeah, you just remind me of the mids because I completely forgot. Every mid double bomb, either one soldier commits
Yeah,
or both. And then the couple mids they did win is when everyone went forward and they cleaned up on players shooting their soldiers. They got the med, stuff like that. But eventually at the end, I think Froyo kind of they caught on a little bit. They dealt with the soldiers pretty well, and they sent someone in to distract the rest of the Morning Light combo. So the aggression really just didn't work, and they traded like 2 for 1.
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
most of the time I saw one soldier jump in, sack for the medic, skis is down to like 50 HP, the other just jumps in, finishes them off. And I mean, they might not always win the mids, but they always got something done. And their rounds kind of seem mixed, anywhere from 2 minutes to 13 minutes on each. So you had a good variety of action on that match. But coming into the next one, Morning Light versus Global Clan, Morning Light taking it 4-2 on Goalie Wash. And did you watch this one? Or yeah, you
I
casted
think
this one
yeah, I
because this was
cast
the
it. I
second
think
one.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the second one. This was really close. I think there was a couple times where Global Clan just almost I think there was like 5 something minutes left. They were on the other team's last, and they just couldn't convert. They got put back to their own last, lost a round, and then at the end of the game, there was 2 minutes left, and they just couldn't win the last push or really get in. And I think Alpha had a big play on Sniper that really closed it out. But yeah, I think that was a good showing from. I think I'd say both teams. Like I was talking about earlier, 5 mids for Global Clan. Their mids looked great. Every mid they just exposed. They got a pick early on the floor, I think. And just overall, they looked really, really good on the mids. They just couldn't quite convert the last pushes.
Yeah, and along on this map, you saw soldiers doing a lot of work. If you sort it by damage, it's the top 4. Top 4 is just all soldiers, and then of course you have Psy and Chunky. Psy I want to talk later about on that Metalworks game, but this one, another thing you saw was a lot of off-classing actually. Looking at it, Alpha played 7 different classes. 5 people went Spy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think I've seen the 4 Sniper, I think, at least on one team, but 5 spies in one game is pretty insane. Usually one guy goes spy in each team, but everybody took their time with it, and overall, yeah, I was pretty impressed by. I think the soldiers of both team really showed up. I think the doubts I had in Global Clan soldiers kind of got pushed aside because they did pretty well individually, and definitely Dingo and Soapy did a great job. And with it being so slow, the scouts' stats are going to be terrible because it was a lot of stalemates, a lot of one-mans, a lot of
and that's why
sacks in the last.
they off class, because you had all these stalemates. What do? Just go Sniper Spy, NG at last, that kind of stuff. But anything else to say about this match?
Well, something that's funny is like Sky had 8 deaths, Azen had 12, and Morning Light 1, which is pretty. You don't usually see that. Usually when a med dies in a long match, they lose. At least by that's a decent margin.
Yeah, and looking at the med stats, it seems like 3 deaths after the charge for Asian, 2 for Sky, and it seemed like Asian lost a lot of Uber advantages that they had, but it didn't really matter in the end, like you said. So, anything else from this one?
No, I think that's it. I think I said. I said 5.
You said 5-2 for Morning Light. I said 4-2.
Hey.
I got that correct. Kind of makes up for the last one, but in this one, neither of us got it correct. Let's move on to Corsia versus Morning Light. Morning Light taking it 4-3 after a golden cap on Metalworks. You said you watched Psy's POV. I watched Psy's POV, and I think we can agree on one thing. Psy fucking pounded. What do you think?
Yeah, that first half, I forget what I think it was a lot of mids just weren't. Yeah, well, actually they won both mids on that game. I don't know, just the first half looked super, super bad for them. A lot of times they they had something, just all falls apart, gets sent back to the last. I
Mm-hmm.
think they had a couple times on the other team's last, but just couldn't convert. There was a bit of, I know there's a bit of arguing going back and forth, but one thing that always happens with these Sandblast side teams is once it's the second half, all like the bickering, all the back and forth arguing, kind of gets put on the back burner, and it's just, everyone just calling, all focused on the game, and it was flowing really well a lot of times. And yeah, overall they won 7 mids, which I'm really like they were winning at a point with one mid win. They were down 7-1 mids and they were still in the game, at least
Mm-hmm.
Corsia, which is kind of crazy, especially because I think a lot of the mids were Morning Light just killing the double soldier bomb that really just didn't do much. And I'm pretty surprised they didn't adapt and try and do a more slow mid, try and do something where they try and come in on a different side. But overall, good job. I think the entire story of this game was probably Sandblast, Psy, and Soapy probably. Soapy had a pretty good game. I didn't have time to watch an STV of it. I wanted to, and also everyone I messaged said they didn't have it. So yeah, but compared to the rest of the soldiers, only soldier with pretty good stats, at least in this game.
Yeah. I mean, isn't Soldier supposed to be like a, a, a good class on Metalworks? Or is that a
Um,
myth?
I it's still not great, but there are definitely times. I think people say that because it's such a high bomb map where you can try and get on a med, try and get behind and draw eyes more. It's not really like a map like I guess you say Goalie and Granary where it's you actually get kills. This
Mm-hmm.
map is more you make space, do damage, live, get on meds and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because we definitely saw Sandblast, I think, Psy Guy, and what's this guy? He's Pumpkin.
Oh yeah,
Yite. Yeah, they did pretty much all the work in this match. Sandblast putting up 53-23. Uh, Yite going 44 and 30. Psy going 38 and 17. I mean, through the entire match, I watched his POV, and it just seemed like there weren't many points where he was caught out. He just had the right positionings and the right frags, and I think with Sandblast kind of coordinating it all, he was definitely the vocal point of the team. With him coordinating everything, especially after the halftime and going into Golden Cap, he kind of just pulled it back for his team, you know?
yeah. I remember that first round. I'm looking at 1 minute round. I remember they started the second half, instant mid to last, and that's scary if you're up, because you have this lead. You're all like, oh, even though we're losing mids, we're playing well. We're getting rounds. We're up 2-0, and then instantly right off the gate, punch in the mouth. They get 6 kills, you get 0, and they win the round in a minute. Next round,
Yeah.
a slower one, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember, yeah, the golden cap. I think it was back and forth ish. I'm not entirely sure. I don't completely remember, but
It was actually 4 minutes. It was pretty quick actually. Corsa was on their last, and Warning Light kind of just popped in on left side, and they had 5 players available. Corsa did, and yet they just weren't on the point because they had an engineer, they had a pyro. Pyro died to the Uber. They had medic and demo going back to spawn, so they had all these players alive, but they just were focusing cap when they Ubered in. So it was just that easy, you know. So I think that was definitely not so much on Morning Light, but I think it was just course that just a lapse in their judgment somehow.
yeah, I think the main takeaway for a team like Corsia is their soldiers had a really rough game. Overall, Ash 18-42, 27-42 for Trip. Even though stats aren't everything, just the mids, they just couldn't get. They just double bombed every time. Got picked, didn't work. They won a single mid, and overall, just Morning Light just sat there. They got the picks, made it work, and it was just over. They took the ground. And when you lose 7-1 mids, winning that game would be insane because you're always at the back foot at the end of every mid. Given maybe you don't lose your med, but you still lose the first point initially, and you're already on your side where you kind of have to play a bit safer. And you can't really initiate into them. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. But even if hold on, let me just look at this one stat. Yeah, so Morning Light on round 4 they won mid, and they were pushed back to their last. And even though they were at their last, they did a coast to coast in 30 seconds, which for me is,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty impressive. I don't think they could have pulled it out if they don't have that. So they're winning the mids, but they're also winning the conversions. So that just kind of solidifies Morning Light's kind of positioning, power ranking in 5 CP maps. I think that's really impressive of them. But you have any last thoughts on this match?
No. I'd have to actually watch the STV to have a bit more. But yeah, from what I saw, good comeback, but really disappointing from Corsia.
Mm-hmm.
I think overall.
No, but anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next match. It was also Metalworks. We casted this one. You didn't cast this one though. It was Bear and
stuff.
Jarrett. You were busy with your exam or something. But this match, although the scoreline might not say it, 5-1, it was pretty exciting, I think, as a spectator sport, at least, these rounds, they went anywhere from like 2 minutes to 14 minutes on one of them, but most of it kind of was just Wonderwall just going from mid to last. But
okay, one stat I saw when I was looking at logs: how did the scout on the losing team have 6 deaths? Like what? How did he have
Smiles.
6 deaths in 6 rounds while losing? That's insane. He must have left every fight.
He only has 153 damage per minute, and
He took
has
sub 100.
he
took
took
the least
less
damage.
heals than both medics.
What?
So
I
he
need to
should-
watch that. What happened?
He's just like shooting weak people. I don't know.
Played 10 minutes of NG, which probably contributed, but still, 20-6 on only scout 30 minutes while losing is.
I don't know if that's really
kind of
good
strange.
cleanup or being too passive.
He's taking no. I'm assuming I don't know. He's probably playing a lot more of an anchor role where he's
Yeah.
while his team's fighting on the combo, he's kind of just watching the flank, poking a little bit. But yeah, that's wild.
He died less than his own medic.
Yeah, he almost had least deaths in the server. That's such a
Jeez.
weird stat to see. But yeah, I think overall from the things I've seen is a huge strength to Wonderwall is I think it's their coordination, because on a map like Clearcut, they were super coordinated so far. In a lot of their games they played, they've been really good at the mids, which usually is a lot of double soldier bombs, pushing together, timing it, and overall I think that's a really strong point for their team. People had good games, just at least looking at the stats. Sin Karma, Yosh, Sam, Cactus Wactus Fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty good games. And the flank from Witness Gaming, I'm still not convinced. Like, Smiles had a good stat game, but I don't know how much like that contributed to them winning, because I don't know how many plays you can make with 6 deaths on Flank Scout. That's just, unless he's playing second beam. Actually, I think he may have been a that's it. He switched to combo, so he must have been playing super passive. I forgot.
Yeah, that might explain it. But
But still
another
6
thing
deaths.
I want to point out is Yash Sniper. You bashed me for considering his sniper play in the preseason.
I thought he was
but
combo scout. He switched, so that's why he's 10 minutes of sniper now.
a
out
fourth
of 40.
a fourth of his playtime was on sniper, and he killed the other medic twice. One of them was like a quick peek around drop while they were holding last, and although they lost that,
Did they really? Wow.
It was still very impressive from Yash. I just every time he went sniper, he would get something. Oh yeah, and then he went out for like another peek, expecting the meta being in the exact same place, and then got backstabbed by a spy. Like,
What?
Wonderwall had a spy pushing into last, and then while Witness Game was trying to push out with a sniper, he backstabbed the sniper. They just completely forgot about the spy, and the spy backcapped.
Oh, I remember seeing the clip where he walks through Shutter and snipes low guy by the forwards and then gets backstabbed instantly.
Yeah.
So a spy stabbed the sniper twice,
Yeah.
pushing out of their own last is. I don't know. I don't know if that's worth it for the spy. Did you give away your position to get that sniper down? But
But
you do you.
You gave away your position, but they don't even care. They've completely forgot about the spy, because the spy just went to last and backcapped. And was that the very last round on the map? I'm not sure, but yeah, that was kind of insane. It was a good match to watch, but
That's
5-1, 5-1 for Wonderwall. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
Any last comments on this match?
I don't think so. What you said, it sounded interesting. Your boy Sin Karma, had a good individual performance, but overall, once again, you lose the mids, you lose the game. Is usually how it works. 5 mids, 5 rounds.
Yep. There are only two rounds where the person who won the mid did not win the round, but that's kind of it for this match. So, do you want to go ahead and move on to the predictions for week 3 of RGL6s?
Okay, so first one we got Wonderwall versus Freytech. Are we all cut up? Did they finish all their week 1 and 2 matches already?
Froyotech?
No, just everyone.
No, I believe Corsia and Froyotech still need to play. There might be a couple other ones that are kind of out there, but
all right.
Yeah.
We already talked about this. So Wonderwall versus Freyotech, I think probably I could see it maybe being a 5-2, but I think 5-1 for Froyo would be safer to say. At least Wonderwall, so far their mids have been great, and I'm feeling they could probably convert one round at least against Froyo, where maybe they just get surprised, punched in the mouth first round of the game, lose a round, and then Froyo kind of gets it together and they're like, all right, let's figure out what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, also as a note, there's no confirmed times or maps for any of these matches, so that's not too much to go off of. But I think Froyo still is gonna. I think while they might have lost a couple rounds to these lower teams, going like 5-1 and such, I think they're solidifying the roster, and I think it's gonna be an easy 5-0 for Froyo. I don't expect there to be many blunders left in that team.
Yeah, makes complete sense. Next game we got Witness Gaming, Morning Light. I think after week 1, I definitely would have said it would have been a lot closer, but I don't know. Unless it lands on like a goofy map, like one of the Koths, Villa, something like that, I'm probably saying that Morning Light's going to win this 5-2. 5-2 for Morning Light. I just don't really buy into. I think Yosh, Rio, and Sin Karma are really solid. I think Virgil's pretty good. Once again, I haven't watched many of the matches, so I can't really state confidently that I know how good the rest of the players I really don't know about are. But I know those 3 are solid. Walrex, I've seen some inconsistent performances. Smiles, now on Combo Scout. I don't know how comfortable he is on it, but it looks like he was super reactive, because he's not proactive, because he's not going for a lot of plays. He's playing super safe, trying to keep his meta alive. 6 deaths in that game, and from what I've seen, he's going to be playing a lot of passive beam scout. But Yosh, probably one of the best playmakers in the league. His sniper, he knows what to do on flank scout, can get behind and stuff like that. But still, I think Morning Light's got too much going for them right now, at least.
Yeah, and I think Morning Light is going to come down to just banning all the Koth. And if they did play Koth, I would say that Witness Gaming is more inclined to take rounds off, but I think because this is almost certainly 5 CP, and although we saw Yash, pop out on Sniper on Metalworks, it didn't really result in anything substantial. So I'm gonna say that Morning Light is gonna be taking it. I'll say 5-1. Witness Gaming might pull out something, but I think Morning Light is just, they kind of outclass Witness Gaming in almost every class. Like Smiles, Walrex didn't really impress me enough to change my opinion, but I think Morning Light is gonna have a good match, and maybe lose one round, but other than that, I think it's gonna be very quick rounds.
Yeah, but like you said, something that is a big worry for a team like Morning Light is you get 3 bans at least in regular season. When playoff comes, it's gonna be rough, because they need to get familiar with some of these Koth maps, some like Villa, because You only can ban 3 of them, and if a team wants, they can take it to one of these weird maps. I know Sai hates Viaduct. He hates Koth in general, which he's gonna have to bite the bullet because either you're playing Villa or you're playing something like Bagel. You're playing something like Clearcut. I think Clearcut should have been one of their better maps, better Koth maps, but they just don't know how to play the map is the big problem. Which I think in the future they'll probably look at it a bit more. But when playoffs come around, you only get one ban, and the other team can pick whatever they want. So yeah, you really got to decide carefully.
Yeah, so they might just end up being the first team eliminated. You never know. Witness Gaming could be like a really, really good Koth team and just face them again and beat them, but I don't think anything's going to happen for this match at least, but you make good points. So, any other comments for this one, or should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, I think that's it for that one.
Okay, so next one is going to be Global Clan versus Corsa. We don't know the date or map for this one as well, so I'll let you take it while I formulate my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Global Clan, I feel like I don't know how good their map pool is in general because they've looked bad in a couple of these games. The last one they played looked pretty decent on goalie. Their mids looked really, really good. Corsia so far, I don't think their mids have been looking great, but Global Clan, the only team without a win right now. And yeah, I'm looking at the maps. They lost 3-1 to Witness Gaming on process. They lost 4-2 to Morning Light on goalie, and they lost 5-1 to Wonderwall on goalie. So I don't know how comfortable I am in them. I think Corsia, their mids aren't really their strong suit. I think it's a lot more the transitional play where they can get some plays going, get someone behind, maybe get a double bomb going, have someone make something happen. But I think Global Clan, unless it's on a map they're really good at, like maybe goalie, but they didn't look great against Wonderwall. I don't know how great Corsia is at it. This is something you'll see in the later season, but I think it will be a 5-1 for Corsia, and I really don't see that much upset potential in this matchup at least.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you, but I think that watching Hayes and Nazara on this week's matches kind of impressed me, so I would be more inclined to say that they'll do better than you may think. They might pull maybe, I'm going to say, well, Corsia, I think, is still going to win. I have less confidence in them after they faced Morning Light, because Morning Light, after the first match, it didn't seem that they were really going to, make a name for themselves. But after the huge upset versus Corsia, I think that Global Clan might follow very, very close behind Morning Light. Might not get an upset, but I think it can go down to the wire. I'm going to say that Corsia is going to win 5-3, but it's a close 5-3.
All right. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I don't know. I still want to have faith in Corsia. I think I don't want to say it's a fluke, but just them just getting absolutely just turned on in that match. Up 2-0 I think in the first half, and then just instantly snapped back 2-2. They're up 3-2, and then just overall in the Golden Cap they lost. But I'd like to think that they'll be able to really convert against a lesser team. I think everyone probably would say in Global Clan, but like you said, Hayes really impressed me. Nazar really impressed me in that match. I think, yeah, they had massive plays. A couple weird ones. I remember there was some. I forget who got spawn camped by Sai on their own forwards when Sai was supposed to be on his last. Yeah, that was crazy. I know Hayes was up to some nonsense and stuff like that, but yeah, I was pretty impressed on their soldiers in that game. But I think Corsia is going to kind of lock in a little bit more. Get their stuff together. Brand Slam's probably gonna be a soldier eater, deal with those soldiers pretty well. Mm-hmm. As long as it's a map they're comfortable on.
Yeah, I agree. But so let's go on to the next one. Also featuring Corsia, it's gonna be Wonderwall versus Corsia. Don't know the map, so just going off of speculation, Wonderwall. I think Fruit also is one of the names that I didn't think was going to make, that many good plays this season, but I think he's coming out as a really power player, maybe MVP on the team. But versus Corsia, I think that they might still struggle, but I know that game of Corsia versus Morning Light really kind of shifted things for me. That you're going to be seeing a shift in my power rankings, but I'm going to say Wonderwall might. I think they're around the same tier as Global Clan, so I'm going to also say it's going to be a 4-2 for Corsia.
Yeah, I feel like this is a really interesting matchup. Once again, I think Wonderwall. I don't know how set they are on a map like Villa. I don't know how. I think they definitely more experienced than other teams on Villa and be more willing. But once again, this is the same scenario with a Morning Light team. I think it's a bit less drastic because they don't have players that hate Koth as much on Corsia. But same thing, pick ban. They only can ban 3 maps. They gotta choose between the 3 Koths and Villa. And if Wonderwall really shows that they are like really good, like they are solid on one of those more standard 5 CP maps, there's going to be a lot of trouble for some of these teams in these pick bans, because they have to decide, do we want to play a map that we know that the other team is very good at, or do we want to play a map that we're not too comfortable with, but maybe they're not as comfortable. So it's going to be a bit of a chess game. I think one other thing is Wonderwall's coordination has looked probably the best in league behind Froyo, maybe even better, but probably not. But I'll just say they're up there with their coordination. They look like a cohesive unit. I think what you're saying about Fruit is completely true. I think Rakuso really opens it up for Fruit, or Fruit opens it up for Rakuso, stuff like that. And I could see an upset happening depending on the map, depending on if Corsia can really start out well. Like I said, mid's big thing. That's it. That's a key word for me today, but I think they definitely need to get that down. Maybe have a map review, maybe talk about it a bit. But I'll say, just because I don't know the map, and let me check who gets the pick here. So Wonderwall actually gets the pick. So I'll say 5-4 for Corsia.
Okay, so you
But
think
I could
it's gonna
definitely
be...
see if it gets to a weird map, and I just don't know how confident these teams are on like the more unorthodox maps. And if I did, then maybe I'd say Wonderwall, but I just can't really, I'm not super convinced. I'm a bit worried about something like Bagel, something about like Villa, Viaduct. I just don't know. They look good on Clear Cut. I just don't know about the other maps.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And those new maps definitely have the ability for upsets. We saw the Ascent almost upsetting Froyo on Bagel. It was just like one play that made the difference. We have Howard in chat saying 5-0 for Corsia, so I every time that I'm like, oh yeah, go get them guys, and they're like, no, we're gonna get rolled. It's either very close or an upset for that team.
Dolphin,
So
you don't understand the banter of Invite. Whenever you talk about playing a team, you say you get 5-0.
I know,
I know. That is the Invite thing. You always say you lose.
I know.
So hard.
Except if you're Froyo, but it always ends up the case, opposite. I think it's going to be a good game. So that's all I have to say about that.
All right. And actually not last game. Global Clan versus Morning Light. Ooh, what do you got to say about this?
I think this might be the... I'm going to say this is going to be probably the closest game out of all of the games that we're estimating, but I think that off of this most recent win from Morning Light, I think they're going to be really making a comeback. They're going to be, they're going to keep that high from that upset, and I think they're going to beat Global Clan. Although I would say Global Clan has a stronger soldier pair than Morning Light, and I think even if Morning Light wants to play a 5 CP map, that might be their demise. But I think, oh gosh, this one's actually pretty hard. I'm gonna say Morning Light is gonna take it out 5-2. But I think it'll be close. It'll be a good game.
I think the key for Global Clan is really getting to I think, like you said, if they can get it to a Koth map, let me double check. So it is their pick. So once again, they have the choice. But in the past, these teams, or Global Clan, Running with Scissors, whatever their team name was in the past, they've been really reluctant to play Koth maps, to play Villa. And I think this season they're a little bit more open to it, but I think if they really want to try and make playoffs, which it's not looking good right now, but they need to accept some of these maps in this map pool to really get it. Because I don't know how confident I am because they just played against Morning Light on Gully Wash, which Morning Light picked, and I'm assuming it's gonna get through. Morning Light's definitely gonna leave it. I think they're gonna ban some weird maps that they're not very confident in. They'll leave it in as a bait, you know. I think they're definitely sure they'll win against Global Clan on Gully.
Mm-hmm.
But especially because I think some people maybe will look at the mids, you know, talk about it, what went wrong last time, especially if they take it for a rematch. I think Morning Light will win harder because a lot of it was, like I said, the mids. And if I'm Global Clan, I think that was their best chance to win. I don't know how much. I think Morning Light's definitely not going to underestimate them anymore. And I'm going to say it's going to be a 5-2 for Morning Light.
Okay, so we both have the same mindset in that. I think there is upset potential, but I don't think it's going to be as much potential as there was with Morning Light and Corsia. But, you know, I think that's that. So if you don't have anything else to say, we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, the final match that is supposed to be in week 3, so maybe something else gets played, but right here, Freyotech versus Witness Gaming. Tell me something. You know, I've heard some things about Sin Karma. I've seen some predictions about Witness Gaming. Does he keep the trend?
If what I said earlier about Froyo not dropping any like 5-1s, 5-2s, any blunders like that is ever going to be false, I think it'll be against Witness Gaming. I think with the preseason scrims, you know, we saw some rounds coming off. If some players on Freyotech might get tilted or get unexpected plays from like Sin or Yosh, you know, I think they might drop it around. So I'm going to say 5-1 for Freyotech. But it's not going to go any better for Witness Gaming than that because, you know, Smiles, Walrex, Rio, they didn't really impress me with their gaming so far. But I'm just going to say Froyo 5-1. Maybe 5-0, but 5-1's the best that Witness is going to get from them. What do you think?
So far, what I've gotten from Witness Gaming is I'm looking at their past matches. They played against Froyo, they played against Corsia. Given it was Snakewater, which may have not been... Actually, they picked it both times, so definitely was a map they felt confident in. They got 5-0'd bad. I remember. 5-0'd bad. Mm-hmm. I just don't think they have, like, the DM to really contend with these upper echelon teams. Like, they beat Global Clan, which I think we can definitely say, you know... I don't think they're super top-end DM all-around, where teams like Corsia, teams like Froyo, teams like... Wonderwalls, teams like Morning Light, they all are super good individually. I don't think they can really match up very well. And I'm going to say 5-0 because I don't know. Even if they win a mid, I think they just can't win these DM fights unless like a couple people pop off. I think someone's going to mess up somewhere else. Like maybe someone gets picked, Sin Karma's doing something, getting shot, and they kind of zone him out, kill everybody else, stuff like that. I just don't know. I don't think it's a good matchup.
Yeah, but I think the only way that Witness Game can get around if it's like one of those really weird like 1 minute rounds where they like just get the right picks in the very right times, like very lucky. But I agree. Every other aspect of this match is gonna be just 5-0 for Froyo, but I think somebody's gonna roll the dice just right. And they're gonna get like a 2-minute round, but I think
Sin Karma 6K. That's what I'm looking for.
Maybe we'll see. But I think that's it from for predictions. Unless you have anything else to say about this amazing matchup.
No, I think that's it. I think we're gonna go into our power rankings. I don't think we're gonna have time for the segment that I was planning because it's already getting there. I think we're gonna reach the time, but for power rankings. I don't entirely remember what I had last week, but
here I have it up, so
okay.
we can adjust it accordingly.
All right, so for Corsia, Wonderwall, Morning Light, Witness Gaming, Global Clan. Okay, okay. Ooh, this is gonna be rough. All right, you wanna? Where do you want to start from top? You want to start from the top or the bottom?
Uh, let's go ahead and start from the top this time. We started from the bottom the last two times. So
Okay.
what do you think? You gonna keep Froyo and Corsia up there together?
I'm gonna keep Froyo. I want to
Oh.
think about it a bit more because it's kind of weird because like some of these teams just beat each other and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Corsia beat Wonderwall, but Corsia lost to Morning Light, but Morning Light lost to Wonderwall. So it's kind of like a weird like who's
Like a weird
actually better.
yeah.
And it's like it's hard to really put them 2 to 4 for me at least because I want to move a team up, but I don't want to move a team down. So,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
ugh. I think, uh, I think I'm gonna leave Corsia at 2. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
I
can
think
respect that.
I just have faith. I think Wonderwall, especially losing on a map like Clear Cut, if they get on a weird map, they're kind of screwed in their map pool. I think is going to be a big hole in their game later in the season,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the playoffs. Like I was saying earlier, they really need to. They need to bite the bullet on one of the maps and just really be like, we're not playing this map. Let's get the rest of these maps down. Like I think if I'm Sai, I'm like, all right, if I really hate Viaduct that much, we have to learn Villa, Bagel, and Clear Cut at
Yeah.
least somewhat. Maybe we can look at it after they pick it, but we need to scrim it throughout the season. Get stuff like that down. Make sure we're not completely a fish out of the water when it comes to that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. But I think, don't you think Corsia? I feel like it's not a solid 2. I think I would not be surprised if they got knocked down to 3rd. But I think they're holding on with their very last breath to stay in the second ranking for me at least. What do you think?
I don't know. If you look at the magnitude of their losses, like Corsia lost by the thinnest margin.
Yeah.
Corsia beat Wonderwall by a pretty big margin, and I think Wonderwall beat Morning Light by the biggest margin of the 3. So it's like, what do you really base it? But it was also on a weird map in
Yeah.
week 1. So it's hard to tell. I think maybe, I don't know, at the end of the season, I could see definitely Corsia moving down. But right now, I have faith in Corsia. They're a core from last season. I think they have enough players that are smart enough. They'll get some stuff going. They just really need to. I think they need to talk about some of the maps. Get down what they want to do on mids. Try out new things besides than just do one thing over and over again. Make sure there's a creative freedom for the soldiers. You don't have to double bomb every mid. You don't have to do all this, and let some players work that need some space. Give Yite some space to make some stuff work because he was definitely making stuff work in his match earlier.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, I'm also going to keep Corsia there. But moving on to the 3rd ranking, last night you criticized me for moving Witness Gaming up from like last to 3rd.
Yeah, that was a bit suspect. Not gonna lie.
You're right. I'm gonna move them back down. I had a hope for them, but I think Morning Light is more qualified to take their place. Witness Gaming, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to move you to 5th. I'm just gonna move everybody else up, and then have Witness Gaming be with 5th. That's
right.
what I think. I think Morning Light coming off of the Corsia and taking a round off of Froyu, the very first round. Their wins seem to me more than just these small chances that just so happen to take place. I think Morning Light really has the potential to play off of Psy, Sandblast, the power duo. Alpha, I think, has the capability to step up. Soapy Meister, I've been impressed with his work. I think he makes a lot of good plays, and especially because this team is so strong on 5CP, and I only think they're going to get stronger. The reason I would not switch them with Corsia is because they still have so much work to do on the new maps and King of the Hill. Other than that, I think they're neck and neck with Corsia. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm a bit conflicted with moving. I think Morning Light definitely deserves to be at 3rd, but I don't know. I think they still have a little bit of things to work out. You know, they had a huge comeback, but I think something that's not really emphasized a lot is roles. Usually, it's something more in other games, like like basketball. There's role players, there's star players, and stuff like that. In CS, there's entries and stuff. I think a problem is watching that stream. There was a lot of clashing between like a couple people, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I think one thing that would really help that team work is if I think Alpha needs to take a bit more of a backseat. There was a couple times he went for a play, he dies, and it kind of takes away the momentum from his combo. Where I think his combo should be the focal point. I think because they're so good overall. Like you saw in that match, they were
Yeah.
popping off individually. I think Alpha just needs to be that rock. If Sandblast goes and does something weird, Alpha can come in, play second beam scout. If Soapy's making a play, maybe Alpha can push behind. Alpha can follow up. I think he needs to, I think he just needs to fill. I don't. This team doesn't really need him to make huge plays constantly pushing the flank. I think his combo can generate enough things to happen where all he needs to do is just make sure, Soapy, let's chill out, make sure we don't lose. Sandblast, do your thing. Sandblast cook, let him cook, come in, play Beam Scout, help Aizen stay alive, and just make sure everyone's as comfortable as possible. Because you always need someone who kind of takes a bit of a back seat. Because every team can't really just be that guy. I think Alpha's definitely, he has the experience. I don't think Soapy really can be the support guy just because just not enough experience to really know everything. Like when he should be like super passive, when he should be that. I think he's super fine being aggressive with Dingo and the combo. I just think Alpha needs to be the support.
Yeah, I agree. On that last match, I think some of the friction that took place was because Sandblast and Alpha, I don't think they necessarily worked together as much as they could have, but I'm not sure. I might have less faith in you than to think that Alpha might kind of grow into that role over time. I'm not sure what it might result in, but I think that might be the one barrier they need to get into second place is Alpha Sandblast combo. Um, yeah, that just what I think. So
Yeah.
I agree
So
with
I
you.
think I'm gonna move Morning Light up. I think right now, I think in the playoffs I could definitely see Wonderwall beating them just because,
Hmm.
like I was saying, the map pool. Map pool is gonna be a disaster, just because four maps are probably uncomfortable on. So,
So you're gonna move them up to
but right now
third?
I think yeah, I'm gonna move them up to third. I think right now
Okay.
in the regular season they're gonna be a better team, but if they can't get their stuff together, I definitely could see Wonderwall moving up and maybe even contending with Corsia if they get, like I said, the right maps. I think the big key to a team like Wonderwall is just they're huge. They have a big map pool, stuff like that. They're really coordinated. They're a good team. I just think if they can, iron out some of the things, make sure everyone's on the same page. I definitely think they can contend with any of these top teams besides maybe Froyu, obviously, but I think they can
Hmm.
definitely contend.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe even in the later half of the season, Morning Light might contend with Ferrotech more than Corsia does. But I think we'll just have to wait it out because these first couple matches, it's just so chaotic. Like you were mentioning earlier, it's just like this weird chain of this team beat this team, which beat this one, which beat this one. But that's yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. But I think as you can see, we've stumbled upon the one time where we had the exact same rankings.
Oh,
Just
I'm not done yet.
oh, you're not
I
done
didn't
yet.
we didn't
Okay,
talk about our 5 through 6 yet.
that is true. Well, I think I'm gonna keep my ranking for 5 and 6, but tell me what you are thinking. What are
I
you thinking?
let me check on one thing real quick. All right, so actually, Global Clan did pick Process in their game, but another team that has, I think, a big hole is going to be their map pool is a team like Global Clan. But with their recent showings, I think everyone's kind of going like into their own. Like you saw the Ed massive game. I think it was against or against Witness Gaming. He had a massive game. The
Hmm.
Soldiers just had a massive game. I think Chunky's been pretty consistent overall. Um, I'm gonna put them above. I think they overall have really shown that they can, they've shown they can contend with Morning Light. They contend with other teams. But I think Witness Gaming, unless something changes, I think the only team they can really contend with is Global Clan, and I think Global Clan is kind of going on the up and up. But it's hard to say, especially because Witness Gaming has played hard team after hard team. But
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put Global Clan above, at least just to have a little bit of parity between our lists. But
Yeah, I can respect that because there's a very clear difference between the soldiers for each team. Hayes and Azara, they had a really good game, and Walrex, Rio, Smiles didn't really impress me. And we'll have to see if that's just Hayes and Azara having their 1 week where they pop off, or if Witness Gaming is just starting the season so slow, and they're only going to get better throughout it. But I see where you're coming from. I think Global Clan overall in most matches would beat Witness, but I think they're very close. Although Global Clan does have the momentum, like you said.
One thing I want to give props to Witness Gaming. I've watched when I had more time. I was watching some of the Sin Karma streams. I really like how they approach. They're putting the effort forward. Their comms seem really, really healthy. You could say there's not much arguing. There's not much I guess you say egos getting in the way and stuff like that. I think they definitely can improve by the end of the season. They're definitely putting in the work. I've heard the word demo review, map review get thrown around a lot, which I doubt a lot of these other teams are doing. Which I really hope they are going to be, at the later in the season improve. But right now, at least, I think Global Clan is going to be a more solid team.
Okay, that's respectable. I think. Is this your final answer on your rankings?
This is my final answer. I'm not flip flopping.
Okay, so at least we don't have the same rankings. That makes it exciting. But are there any other things you would like to mention on your rankings, or should we move on to the next segment?
I think we move on, but I could definitely see some of these teams moving next week. But next we're gonna have class power rankings. We brought it back. We brought it in the first week in the preseason, and now that we've seen 2 weeks of the games, I think we'll move some people around a little bit. It'll probably be a lot of the same, but we'll move some people around.
Okay, so with the first class, so we said that who switched positions? We said
Yosh
that
and Smiles have switched.
Yosh and Smiles. Okay.
Yosh is now on Flame, unless it's been changed again. But from the log I looked at, Smiles had more heals and less deaths. So
Okay.
and Yosh played 10 minutes of sniper, which probably contributes to that a little bit. Oh, I forgot to say, in the Witness Gaming Morning Light game, you're gonna see a lot of SVS. You got 2 sniper lovers. You're gonna see the Alpha Yosh sniper matchup probably a good bit. So if you like SVS, you'll tune into that match.
Okay. So, I mean, one person could go sniper, the other goes spy. Spy kill the sniper, and the spy back cap like we saw in the other game. But we'll see what happens. 5 players going spy. Anyways, let's get into first place for Pocket Scout. You want to start at the top, go down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think my ranking has really changed from last week. I'm gonna say that Banny is still number 1 Pocket Scout. You agree?
Controversial.
I know.
I'd have to agree.
Okay. Yep. So let's go ahead and move on. Second place, I think we have Brand Slam, Cap, Shamu, Sandblast, Smiles. After the last game, I'm gonna say that Sandblast is my number 2. He just popped off, and on Monday was basically Sandblast Day. We casted 3 of his games.
That's true.
And he did pretty well in all of them.
2-1, yeah. Even in his loss, I think with 38 and 18. So I'm gonna have to agree. It sucks to have the same list, but I think he definitely deserves a nod. The props, because he was looking like that guy in all these matches.
Yeah, he definitely had his night to shine, and I think it's gonna continue. He's gonna continue, doing main calling for Morning Light. I think he's gonna be, making his debut. I think he might be the the one scout that might contest with Tech, but let's go ahead and move on to the third ranking. What are you thinking?
Ooh, I am between two scouts right now. I don't know. One of them has been on fire. So
What are
you know
their
what?
names?
I don't want to say it yet. I'm still thinking. I don't want to throw out some names here. But you know what? I'm going with, someone I think who's been on the up and up. I'm going with Cap at number 3. I don't know. Brand Slam had a pretty silent game with in the match where I think he really needed to step up. I think he went 30 and 28. And overall, I think a lot of their problems was, the comms, some of their coordination, the mids. A lot of that's down, and that's a lot on that combo scout because it's such an important role. And I think Cap's been doing a great job, and I think he definitely deserves his props after a couple good weeks.
Yeah, I think sadly I'll have to agree with you. I think Cap is also my number 3. In the matches that I've spectated, he's been, one of the players that I always have to switch to his cam because he just like gets all the frags. I think he works really well with Howard, along with everybody else on the team. But I think those two scouts are going to be, I think, the second best scout combo in Invite, apart from Tech. So yeah, I agree. Cap number 3, but let's see if number 4 has shows their differences. I'm gonna say that I think so far Shamu is the best out of Shamu, Brand Slam, and Smiles, and I think that's just I think Brand Slam might be a close one behind it, but I think Shamu is the best out of those 3. What do you think?
I'm saying Brand Slam. I don't know. Shamu, he didn't have some great games in some of these recent matches. I think he's good. I just don't think I think Brand Slam's better. I think Brand Slam definitely deserves number 4 right now. When I played with him, I'm really hard on Brand Slam. I yelled at him a couple times because he's a bit dense. Like he's a bit dense, but you gotta love it. He's got the passion, and I definitely think he's a great player. I just think he needs to step it up. I think he needs to take control. Be that guy for his team. Really lead them. But yeah, I'm gonna say Brand Slam number 4 for me.
Yeah, I think you make some good points. That's why I'm gonna put Brand Slam as my 5th. I'm guessing that you're gonna put Shamu 5th.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay. And yeah, I mean Brand Slam, I think he might by himself he might be better than Shamu, but I don't think he's performing as good as he should be considering what team he's on Korisha. But Shamu, although Global Clan isn't like as good as Korisha on paper, Shamu is doing better than expected for me. So that's why I'm gonna put him as my 5th, and you can have Bran as my 5th, and Shamu as my 4th.
I don't know. It's just another thing is if I watched the Wonderwall Witness Gaming game, maybe I'd have a bit more of a say because I just don't know what the numbers mean from that match. Like 20 and 6, having almost the least deaths in the server, losing 5-1 is just. It's just strange, especially on Combo Scout taking the least damage per minute. It just doesn't feel right, and I don't know. Once again, I just didn't know how Smiles was on Flank Scout, and now he's moved to another role. I just really don't know. So I think I have to put him at. I'm sad to say 6, but if I have time eventually, which I think I'll have this week, maybe I'll watch that demo because that is like the only demo that's been uploaded to Demos TF that I can actually just get. So maybe one of these days I'll look at it, but. Until then, I think I have to leave him there. I feel bad, but I think these guys definitely have the resume ahead of them.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of good pocket scouts up there, but
it's a rough role. There's so many good players.
It is. Apart from, I think Demo might be the fattest role.
I think this season definitely.
Yeah, but But I think that's it for Pocket Scout. If you want to go ahead and go on to Flank Scout.
Yeah, so Flank Scout,
Introduce us.
I think it's safe to say who's first. You know, I think it's safe to say Eric's first.
Yep.
Obviously, you know. I don't think you have anything to say other than that. So.
No. It's Eric. I mean,
Yeah.
unless we see otherwise in these coming weeks, I don't think he's gonna budge from that position anytime soon. So if you want to go on to the second place, then
I kind of want to hear what you have to say, because you had a take last time that you know
what did I say last time?
You said Yite then Alpha, I think, and yeah, and stuff like that. So I want to hear what you have to say.
I definitely don't agree with my former self. I'm gonna have to say that it's close, but I'm gonna say Howard actually. He's my number 2. I'm gonna say
I saw an insane clip from their game.
he did like
He
pretty
went
damn
down
well.
drop, got pre-fire balled, and dropped the med through 3 people. Like, Yosh read that so hard. Yosh threw a ball up the drop down.
Mm-hmm.
The scout came down and dropped the med, which is insane. But yeah, so anything else you want to say about your number 2?
Yeah, I'm gonna only say he's not number 1 because he's not on Furya. That's all I'm gonna say. But
all right, well, I think I'm gonna say number 2. I think Yite. I think Yite is probably. He was the, you know, the silver lining, the light in the sky for Corsia in that second half. He made a couple big plays. You know, he was very aggressive. You know, he got his stuff done, stuff like that. I think Yite definitely still deserves that number 2 spot for me at least.
Yeah, I would say I agree. I was very close between Howard and Yite, but I think Yite. I'm not sure if it's because Corsa kind of beefed it against Morning Light, but I'm gonna say Yite is my number 3, and then you were talking all that good stuff about Howard. I'm gonna guess that you put him 3rd. You better put him 3rd. Am I correct?
I think.
Come on.
I think I kind of have. I don't know. I've been talking about. I think everybody on Wonderwall. I think especially the scouts. I think everybody on their team is. They're pretty good. They're really good. I think Alpha still has ways to go. I think he could easily jump up to 2 if he really steps up, but I don't think he needs to, is the thing. I think all he needs to do is, like I was talking about earlier, he needs to just be the role fill. He needs to, you know, he can do the things he needs to do. I don't think he's going to be asked to do as much as Howard does, where Howard does some weird stuff, pushes flank. I just don't think that's what's going to be needed of him. And I think Howard definitely is super solid. I think I definitely got to give the props to the people on Wonderwall who have been looking really good in some of these games. I think Howard's 3.
Howard's 3. Okay. I can respect that. So I think number 4. I feel like this class is really tough because there's nobody that really stands out as number 6
especially
to me.
with Yosh moving to Flank Scout. This is a really also stacked category, which is it's going to be really hard to like rank people.
I know somebody who might message me a very angry message after I voiced my opinion, but for number 4, I'm going to say that out of the remaining 3 scouts, only one of them had like a pretty outstanding game, and that's Ed. And I think it's hard to tell because none of these scouts really, you know, popped off consistently, at least in every game. So I'm just gonna put Ed as my number 4. What about you?
I think I'm stuck between Yosh and Alpha. I think like last season they were both on different roles, but now I don't know, they're both. I think Yosh is really, really good individually, but I'm gonna put Alpha at 4. I think Ed's good and all, but it's just not contributing to a winning effort. It's kind of rough. I think Alpha, you know, if he needs to, his sniper's phenomenal. I just don't think he needs to be the number 1 guy. Maybe if he's on a different team where he is a more just like passive combo that just, you know, plays as a bull, chills out. I think Ed definitely deserves his props, but I'm going to put Alpha here. I think he's He's got the pedigree, got the resume, and it's hard to put him, especially because he's on like a top 3 team, to put him
Yeah.
below 4 for at least me. Just how I consider the power rankings like that.
Yeah. I mean, if I could, I would put all 3 of those on 4th place, but we can't do that. So
There's got to be a loser.
there has to be a loser.
Sad to say.
Um, Number 5. I mean, go ahead and follow up on your 4th and kind of share what you're thinking for number 5th.
I think Yosh is great. I think he's phenomenal. The only problem is, just like I was saying about a problem with Ed, is just I don't think his team's going to be that great where a lot of his big plays are going to contribute to a winning effort. And I think he's definitely probably one of the best playmakers in the league just because he can do so many things on scout. He's probably, I think people would say, the best sniper in Invite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe there's other people. I think he's definitely up there as one of the best snipers in Invite. And I think that definitely contributes to him for me at least being 5. I think any of these guys can move up and down, but right now I'm saying Yosh 5. Until I see some more dubs, I'm gonna leave him here.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. I think in that Metalworks game, Yosh kind of only he dropped the medic. He made those plays that were kind of like the only. If he was the only player who really kind of, if they were gonna make a comeback, he would be the one to initiate it. So I'm gonna put him as my number 5. I really don't want to put Alpha as my number 6, but that's just the way these rankings work. We can't have like a 7th, but yeah, Yosh, I think he has potential to do really well on Koth, at least. When Morning Light's time comes where they can't ban all the Koth and they're going to have to play Witness Gaming on Koth, I think that's going to be the one place that he shines and really, keeps his team in the playoffs. That he makes that kind of plays. What are you thinking for 5th and 6th overall?
I think Ed's phenomenal. I think he's great. His individual skill is insane. I think he has. I believe he could be incredible. I think he's got the mechanics. I just think they need to get their stuff together as a team. Same thing. Just being on a bottom team, it's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to say he's above this, but I think he's definitely really, 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 really good as an individual. But Yosh and all these other scouts have just, they got the experience, they got the talent. Their teams are better. But I think definitely Ed is here, and I think honestly, at the end of the season, I could see almost like a bunch of these players could move up and down depending on how they end up at the end, how their teams end up, stuff like that. I think this and demo, I guess maybe will fluctuate more than demo at this point.
I think so, yeah. I think the bottom 3, maybe even I think
the bottom 4, could definitely
4 or
be
5 are definitely. If you reverse it, I wouldn't be surprised if it's that way in the very last week. But yeah, a lot of these players are very close. But unless you have anything else to say, we can move on to Roamer.
Yeah, I think we will.
So coming in number 1, I'm not sure if you think it has changed at all, or if it's just still too obvious who's number 1.
Ooh, I think it's pretty obvious.
The true number 1.
The true number 1, not the faux number 1.
There can be a number 1 in everybody's hearts.
Hey, but number 1 is gone. After that loss, he was not stepping up on those mids. Those mids looked like garbage, Trip. Trip! You need to... I don't have time to mentor you this season. You gotta figure this stuff out yourself, bro.
So you're gonna say Blaze number 1, right?
I'm gonna say Blaze number 1.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm sorry, Trip. How about we put second place first for number 2, or first place second. Wait, the first runner up. How about that?
All right, I think I'm trying to think about this. I may have to do something, but I want to hear what you have to say for number 2.
I'm gonna say, like, after these recent matches, like this entire podcast, I've been going off about Global Clan's Soldier combo. I think Hayes and Nazara have been doing really well. I would even say that Hayes is doing better than Trip, so that's gonna be my number 2. Would you
All right.
agree, or would you? What do you
Uh,
think?
I'm thinking on the same level, like the same. So picking up what you're putting down, but not quite the same pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not quite the same pieces here. I definitely think Tripp. Uh, I don't think he's number 2 right now. He didn't look great. He
He's
didn't
not
look great
even
in that
number
match.
2, huh?
Not number 2 for me. I am gonna put the man himself. First season, I'm gonna put. You know, I had my doubts at the beginning of the season, but I think I've been proven wrong. This may be a mistake just because there's not much of a track record, but I'm going out on a limb. I'm putting Soapy Meister
Soapy
number
number
2.
2.
I believe I want to punish Tripp for sucking it up in that match, and I think Soapy definitely he showed his worth. The only soldier who almost went positive on that game. I'd have to watch the demo, which if anybody from that match has the STV, please send it my way because I actually want to watch that one. But yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that, I think Tripp will understand, and if he doesn't, I'll have a good argument with him later.
Okay. You know what? I was actually looking through the list and I'm like, I really want to put Soapy up there because he's been like the one name out of all of them that has really made an impression in my brain. Because every time I was on his cam, and he was doing that very slow walk up for the double bomb, he was always the person that, if there was any other person in that situation, he was the only one that actually make it count. And so that's why I'm gonna put Soapy as my number 3. And I'm glad that you pointed that out, because I feel like I would have missed him, and I would have regret that decision to put him number 3. What are you thinking for number 3 though?
Ugh. This is hard. I think. Ooh. I'm stuck between like 2.5. I got 2 up there, and I'm considering someone else, but I don't know who I should put, cause. Ooh, I'm gonna. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna give my props in a different category, but I'm gonna say Tripp number 3 right now. I
Tripp
think he's
number
still
3.
solid. I'm gonna give props to a certain team later on, but I think Tripp definitely still's up here.
Yeah, true. I think I would follow up on that. I don't want to be, just copying you. My number 3 is your number 2, but I'm gonna say my 4th one is Tripp. I can't, even if he's the former number 1, he's still got it. He's not washed out. I think that as the season goes on, Corsia, if they get their shit back together, he's gonna be those little pieces that make the difference in the game. So I'm gonna put Tripp as my number 4.
Yeah, I expect more. I think he definitely has to fill bigger shoes on this team. I think he needs to make some stuff happen, but I think he's definitely should be there. And you know what? I want to hear. Oh, you put 4 already. Oh, let's see. Who do I want to put 4? I think I'm gonna say Rakuso. I think Hayes has been great, but Rakuso's they've been winning games, and a lot of it has been behind the coordination. And a lot of that coordination becomes from the initiation, a lot of Asians. But I think Rakuso's he's been solid over the years. I think he's definitely been in the top 4 for the past who knows how many seasons, and I think he definitely still belongs up here, and I definitely think he can move up if they keep performing, and Tripp keeps disappointing me. So I've had a lot of faith. I think I put him number 2 in the power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a very sad face after watching some of those matches, watching my boy.
Yeah, I think he definitely has the potential to do well, but he's just underperforming. I'm not sure if it's because of the competition is just better than he expected, but I get what you're saying. But let's move on to the very hard decision of who to put 5th and 6th. It might not. I think it kind of mirrors Pocket Scout, where there's one person that sadly does kind of pop out as number 6, or at least doesn't pop out as better than the other. So I'm gonna say that number 5 for me is gonna be Rakuso, and I'm gonna guess that
Hayes, yeah, Hayes.
Hayes
I think
is
Hayes
number 5 for
definitely
you.
was incredible in that goalie match. He was making some big plays, making some weird plays. I think it was a bigger. There were some weird things happening in that game, but I definitely think he is getting better at the roamer role. I'd like to see him in a close match versus Witness Gaming and see who really stands out and is like the determining factor on these games.
Yeah, and you know, for number 6, I'm sorry, I saw Walrix in chat earlier. Um, you just haven't really impressed me. I'm not sure if you've really seen anything come out from him. Maybe his time is yet to come. He might have like a couple weeks that he. Oh God, I don't want to be too brutal, but like it's just the truth. We have to put somebody 6, and he's just not. I can't remember any like big plays that he's made yet. I'm gonna say yet. Okay. I mean, do you have anything to go off of, Marm? For
Yeah,
number 6?
I haven't watched a lot of these games, but some of these stats, like even though they are just stats, 7 and 20, 12 and 33. I definitely think he's the type of guy who's not gonna be. He's not gonna like joke himself. He knows he can do better. I believe he can do better. I know he can, but right now, with how things are working out, their team is second to the bottom in the league right now standings, and so far just hasn't looked great as an individual. Maybe he provides the comms, but that's something that as an outsider I can't tell. So what I'm seeing is I just don't think he's better than all these soldiers, because I think this is also a really good category. There's a bunch of really quality players in this group.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of good rumor plays these first few matches. I think that it really does depend on the week. One match, one soldier is going to make their debut, the next, somebody else does. I think it's very volatile from week to week. I think these rankings might be the one class that we change pretty significantly every week, but I think this is just where our opinion lies right now. Anything else you want to say before we move on to Pocket Soldier?
I think that's it. Like you said, I think a lot of these. Now that I'm looking at it, I think a lot of these like classes could have a lot of fluctuation in how we rank them, because I think a lot of them are pretty close in skill level. Like disregarding the top. I think everybody could probably make a jump up if they start doing better in some of these games.
Yeah, definitely agree. But number 1, I think so far every first has been pretty expected.
Are you change it? Are you gonna change it?
I don't know, but I'm gonna let you actually take number 1.
Okay, Jay.
Okay, that wasn't very.
Okay,
that
Jay.
wasn't very. That didn't take long, but I think
Jay's a crazy man.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I remember him. If anybody has the clip of him counter jumping the other roamer and market guarding him.
God, it's the most lame thing ever. I hate
it
that
is.
gun.
It's like
so lame. At first it was funny. Now I think it's just so boring. I hate the market guarder.
You just watch him like get.
It's just
market
like
guarder,
so dumb.
God damn it. I mean, yeah, I think only one person in the league can do that as of now. So I think Jay is the obvious first place for Pocket. But is there anything else to say about Jay before we move on to number 2?
No, I think he's pretty much the unanimous number 1. I think but definitely some of these other guys have been showing up, doing some work, but I think he definitely does his stuff.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. He does his stuff. He does whatever it takes. I don't want to be S-ing too many D's in here, but let's move on to number 2. I'm gonna say this one's even more closer than Pocket, Flank, and Roamer. I'm gonna say.
I'd be upset if you steal mine.
Ooh, what is yours?
I'm not. I want to see what you say.
I'm gonna.
See if we have the same on the same wavelength.
I'm gonna guess that yours is Ash, but for mine, I'm gonna put. I think yours is Fruit, but I'm also gonna put Fruit.
Damn you. Damn
Did I get it
good.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said I was going to give my props to the soldiers in another category. I think he definitely has been showing up this season. And so far, at least in that last match, Ash had a roughie. I think Ash is really solid as a player, but just that really sticks in your mind when you see that. So I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to put Fruit. I think Fruit's been super consistent. A lot of these games, I think in the last game they played against, was it Witness? He went positive on Metal, which is pretty good. It's pretty damn good. So I definitely think he deserves his flowers. Is that a saying, right?
It is
Deserve your
now.
flowers. All right. I swear that's a saying. Maybe
We'll
I
send
always
out
butcher these.
flowers to all the pockets at the end of this season.
I'm not
I'll
sending any flowers.
I'll do an
I don't have
edible
the money.
arrangement. How about that for
Thank
the
you.
first team? But
That's so sweet.
it's all gonna be like the gross like green like honeydew. It's just gonna be honeydew. It's just gonna be honeydew. Nobody likes it.
That's messed
But
up.
no, I'll send that to the sixth place. First place gets like strawberries and like kiwis and shit like that. But anyways, third place for Pocket. Let's move on. I was gonna say Nazar for my number 2, but I think I'm gonna put him right behind Fruit as my number 3.
All right. This is rough. Cause I think I don't know. Dingo's had some rough games. Rio's had I don't know. They just haven't won, but he's had some decent games. Nazar, like you said, had a pretty good game. But I think I'm gonna put. I don't know. It's hard. I think I'm gonna still put Ash here. I think Ash still has the, like I said, resume. It's the same thing with Trip number 3. I still think he is super solid. I think he can definitely bounce back from that. I think it's a bit of a. I don't want to say fluke because that's gonna discredit Morning Light, but I think it's a fluke on his end. I think he can definitely do better. And once they get, their, if they get the calling, their synergy. I hate that word because it means literally nothing. There's no like tangible value to synergy, just like a made up thing. But once they get that together, I think definitely he'll look better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, I would say that Ash is my number 4. He's been doing pretty well. Ash, also formerly known as Pissy, unfortunately changing his name,
Wait,
but
what?
was
Ash
it
is
Ash?
Ash.
Ash is
No,
Ash.
Ash.
Wait, no,
Sam.
I have 2
It's
Ashes. No,
Sam.
Pissy moved
That's
to
Sam.
Sam. I'm getting my names confused.
That's
Sam
like,
is the demo.
Ash has
Okay.
been Ash for like 8 years. All right.
I'm forgetting
I'll
who
give
is
you
who.
a pass. I'll give you a pass.
I'm forgetting who is who. Uh, yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna cut that from the YouTube VOD.
Yeah, big jump cut.
Yeah, Ash. I love Ash. Always been known as Ash. Always been an Ash fan. I would put him as my number 4. He's been pretty impressive, along with I might even say more than Trip this season, but yeah, he's my number 4 for this season. What are you thinking? Who do you think is gonna follow in Ash's footsteps? Be the best Pocket?
Let me look. The 4th best. All right. Let's. Oh, I think I know. I have to give it to. But it's like I feel like I can because you already gave you gave the shout out. I'm gonna put Dingo here. I think Dingo
Okay.
is super solid.
Why is
He's
that?
had some, just I think he's a really solid player. He's got the mechanics. He listens. He'll call. He'll tell you what he needs to tell you. And I don't know. I think Nazar is great. I think you gave him his props where I can maybe go with who I think probably in the future, maybe not like just right now. I think Dingo's super solid. I don't think he's gonna need to do as much as on other teams just because same thing with Alpha. I think those two can and should probably take a bit of a step back from being the playmaker, making everything happen and just fill the role, do what needs to be done, do the dirty work, stuff like that. I think Dingo definitely deserves that number 4 in my heart.
Okay. I mean, in my opinion, I just haven't seen any impressive plays from Dingo. I don't know if it's because I've been turning a blind eye to him.
No, this season I don't
Or-
think he's had very massive plays where
Yeah,
other people have.
so I can't necessarily agree with you, but I'm gonna put who do I have?
You
Who's left?
have
Dingo and
Rio
Rio?
and Dingo.
Yeah, since we're number 5, I honestly can't say that Rio has impressed me either. He's kind of in the same boat as Walrex, doing just as well as each other, but not enough to really make that jump up out of last place. So I'm gonna follow in your footsteps yet again, and put Dingo as my number 5.
Like for 5, oh, I really like both these. I think I put Rio above in the preseason, but with I don't know, Global Clans still don't have a win. I think Rio has had some. He's been pretty good, pretty solid. Nazaro's also been pretty solid. I don't want to put either of these guys number 6. I don't think they really deserve it, but ooh, do I count for a win or a really good performance more is the real question.
Well, it depends.
Rio has a win against Nazara.
Does
Nazara
that win,
had a really good looking game.
Is that because of Rio's performance, though?
I think Rio did play well in that game. I'd have to, did you put your 5 already? I did.
I put my number 5. Because, like, with my Alpha one, like, while his team got that really good win against Corsia, I don't think it's because of Alpha, and that's why I put him lower.
I completely understand where you're coming from with I think we have a different view. I know power rankings is rough. It's hard to, like, quantify what makes someone better. It's like, do you count the team success? Do you count the individual play and stuff like that? I'm still stalling to find wherever this match is. I have found it. All right. In this game, Rio went 35-29. Nazara went 14-37.
Which game was that?
Against Global Clan. Winners game of Global Clan. I thought I remembered him doing really well. So I'm going to put Rio 5. I can comfortably say that because you put Nazara, you gave him his props. I think he definitely deserves it. I'm going to put Rio number 5 because I think he's definitely solid.
Okay.
I think he provides the leadership and the calling that team needs. Because listening to the comms, he definitely appears as the leader, the emotional leader of the team.
I don't think I've had the pleasure to listen to Witness Gaming comms, but
I'm watched the Sin Karma stream?
I've watched a little, but I don't know voices. I'm terrible with voices. I don't even know your voice. You could be Sandblast for all I know, but I don't
know about that one. I don't know how similar we sound, but you could
very,
say that
very. I'm just glad that not everybody in Witness Gaming is gonna be 6, but I'll just wait for the next match and I'll keep my eyes out for Rio. But I'm gonna have to put him as my last place one, and I can't believe that you're putting Nazara as number 6.
I know.
Or at least
I hate
leaving
to see
from
it. I hate
for
to
last.
see it, but I think he did well, but they just didn't win. They didn't win in the end. Rio did well, won. Maybe a bit underwhelming in some of these games, but I definitely think he played pretty well in some of the games they even lost. Like I'm looking at, okay, maybe that's not the best example because he kind of went 16-27, but I'm just saying off my memory. I think I remember him doing pretty well, 11-13 against Corsia. That's not terrible, but I think he definitely, in the games that are close against Global Clan, I think he's definitely can be the difference maker.
Okay, I mean, like we said before, all these rankings are due to change. Yeah, I mean, we I guess it just comes down to our different perspectives. You care about the W, I care about performance, but I think let's go ahead and move on to the one where performance is really close in every single one of these.
This class is very important as well. So a lot of the success is going to follow up off of the class's performance because Demo and Combo Scout are kind of in the same area along with Med, but a little bit less. But those two classes usually are going to contribute to success the most directly.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start it off.
Are you going to say the boy? You're going to put your boy at number 1 or not?
Who's my boy?
Sin Karma Alt Demo Man. Who else?
I didn't put him first last.
I know you
time,
didn't, but maybe you're feeling high on Sin Karma Alt Demo Man.
No, I mean I was high on him before, but I don't think he really came out as much as I wanted him to. So I think it's just gonna have to stay with Habib as number 1, and I'm assuming you agree.
Pretty controversial take, but I'm also gonna put Habib number 1 Demo Man.
All right. I mean, simple as that. Just yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Number 2. Let's get into the spiciness. I think this class might be the one place
I think we both have the same second. I think I'm pretty sure you're gonna be on the same page because I want to hear what you gotta say.
It's tough.
I think I know.
It's tough. But I think after that one match, we might have the same idea. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Oh God, how about you go ahead and say it?
Sai.
Okay.
Sai was
Yeah.
insane in that match.
I was thinking
He
that
looked
as
really
well.
bad in that first match, and then he really pulled it back when it mattered most.
Yeah, I agree. You know, watching his POV, like you might be partial when you're watching some certain players' point of view that they did better than everybody else. But even if you watched, you know, Sandblast, Alpha, Soapy, anybody else's on that team's point of view, I think you would be mostly impressed with Sai. I mean, looking at the damage he put out, he just did really well. He had like great positioning on that, and it definitely wouldn't be without him that they could
Yeah, he
upset a
had
team like that.
60 more DPN than anyone in the server.
Jeez, I mean,
Literally anyone.
I knew coming to this preseason that he's a pretty good demo, but I didn't expect him to shine this early on. But I mean, if we don't have anything else to say about Sai, I mean, we can go on all day about that, but let's move on to third, shall we?
This is tough.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
I'd love to see the stats in front of me, but
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and lock mine in. I'm gonna say Sam. Sam impressed me when I was watching their game. I think he was he did pretty well on the mid fights of Metalworks, and I think he's probably one of the best players on Wonderwall. And I think that kind of counts as something for my ranking for Demo Man. What are you thinking?
that's what I was stuck between. I was stuck between Sam and Alex. I think Sam's super solid, but Alex, I think they're around the same individual level, but Alex is on a more winning team. Even though he did decent in that game, he didn't really in the game they lost. He did pretty good. Second damage even. He could have done more. I think you could say that about everybody besides maybe Yite and maybe Zilly, but I think I'm gonna put Alex.exe still in front. It's too soon. I don't know. I haven't been really watching a lot of the games. You know, I've had exams for the past 2 weeks, so I haven't had the free time to look at it. But right now, I'm gonna say Alex ahead. But I definitely could. I want to see if Sam, you know, maybe can jump up, but I don't know. I kind of have them at the same level individually around there, but like when the tiebreaker is which team is doing better. So I think you got to put them above.
Yeah, when you put it like that, if that's like your main judgment, I can agree. I mean, it even if they don't perform well individually as a team, I'm gonna say that Alex definitely performs better than I think the remaining demos. So I'm gonna put him as my number 4.
Standings, funnily enough, Wonderball's number 1. They're 3-1, but they haven't played Froyo yet. And Corsia's 2-1, and they haven't played Global Clan and Froyo and Wonderball. So, you know, they have similar records, but I definitely rate their record a bit higher.
Okay, I understand that. So what are your thoughts on 4th exactly?
4th, I think I'm putting Sam. I think Sam is super solid. Sam, formerly known as Redacted name that I'm not saying. It's a little bit gross. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
I guess it's
I'm not gonna
not if you think of it in a different sense, but you know.
He's very angry. How about that?
That's true.
How about that? Yeah. But
It's just unfortunate, you know. Unfortunate. It has two definitions, you know, maybe, but yeah.
Anyways, moving on to let's go ahead and go on down to the 5th and 6th.
I know who I'm putting here. I know who you're putting here.
Do you think we're gonna be putting the same
You
person?
want to count down on 3 and say who we think? Who's number 5?
For each other or
No, just for yourself.
for ourselves?
I want to see if we have the same one.
All right, go ahead and count it down.
3, 2, 1. Sin Karma.
Yep.
Sin Karma all down.
Sin Karma. You know, I can't after the first rankings we gave, I can't put him on 6. You know, I can't. That'd be just
Did you
disrespectful.
put him at number 2?
Did I for
I
for
think you.
last?
I think you did for the preseason. You put him at number 2,
Probably. I
which
wouldn't be
I
surprised.
completely. I love it. I love to see it.
What I think what I meant then was second to last. I think I forgot to phrase it correctly, but Sin Karma, I think so well. He so far he's been doing pretty well in the matches, even if his team has been losing. If you just looked on stats alone, it didn't seem like his team got like 5-0, 5-1. You know, he still puts up respectable stats. You know, he's not going as like KD of 1-2 on demo when his team loses, like many other demos might. I think he holds up well, and he's definitely, while he might not be the greatest, he's definitely consistent. And I think that's worth a good amount to me. What do you think?
Sin Karma number 1 in my heart, but yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely solid. I don't know if he can replicate his insane games from the preseason where he dropped like eight was it 500 or 800 DPM? One of those. Even though they lost like 10 minutes or something. But yeah, I think Sin Karma's definitely really showing up. And big thing is, I'm pretty sure he showed up for his dub when they beat Global Clan, which has Chunky on it. Let me double check. Yep, 25 and 16, 261 DPM from the man, the myth, the legend, Sin Karma, all demo man.
And how the other demo do?
Chunky went 29 and 20 with 229.
Okay, so slightly behind, I would say, but I think Sin definitely has the upper hand on that match. But
Yeah, he did take more damage, but I think Sin Karma,
that's expected.
they did win that game.
Yeah.
So I believe in Sin Karma. I think Chunky's great, but I don't know. That's a big problem. Is I think he's been great for a couple seasons, but it doesn't convert into wins. Him having stats it hasn't converted into wins the past few seasons. And I need some W's off of these games.
That's all you
Is that a
care
point?
about, W's.
These may be empty stats. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. You know, on an individual level, he might do good, but it just doesn't bring that cohesion to get that, you know, W. It doesn't. I could see him like maybe switch with one or two other demos, but I don't think he's really impressed me so far. So I think he might be the not so obvious 6 in this list.
All right. And then we've gone way past time. I didn't realize this.
Yeah, almost double our time. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Medic.
All right. I think I know who I'm putting up number 1.
Do
you know
you?
who you're putting at number 1?
You tell me who you're putting number 1.
Skis.
Skis? Should I agree?
Should you?
Should I agree? I'm gonna say that I disagree. I'm gonna put somebody else actually.
All right.
You can probably guess
I'm
who.
excited. Yep, I think I know.
I'm gonna say number 1, Law Guy.
Yep. All right.
Just based on, I think coming into the season, I didn't think he was do that good, but he definitely impressed me. And I think Skis, like on an individual level, I care less about W's than you do. That's probably where we get our differences in this ranking, but I think Law Guy is he takes his past experience and he really shows how good he is this season. So I'm just gonna say he's my number 1.
Yeah, something that would be interesting that maybe we'll do next time is you average the rankings of the entire team, and then you see who's the highest.
Okay.
Like, that'd be pretty cool. Huh?
Maybe I'll look at it after this.
Yeah, but I think Low Guy number 2 for me. Great med, calls, knows what's up. I put Low Guy number 1 last season, like all of last season.
Mm-hmm.
Then Skis popped off a couple games, popped off on that clear cut game at the beginning of the season. In the end, he was looking great, and I definitely think Low Guy is really, really good, and probably the best individually mechanic, just straight up mechanics. I think definitely best. but
Yeah.
I think Ski's definitely's got the all around, and once again, winning team. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think Ski's, I don't want to make a mistake. I think he's really good, but there's times where he likes to normalize dropping Uber. If they lose a round to Witness Gaming, that's gonna be why, I think, and that's why I'm not gonna quite put him as number one.
I
But
understand.
I think he's definitely still up there. Like even if he dropped all of his Ubers, I think he'd still do well.
You have to take Ski's highs with his lows.
Yeah, that's true. He, yeah, if you can't handle him at his worst, you don't deserve him at his best. But
Hmm.
moving on to number three, we've got Zilly, Sky, Azen, and Virgil left. I feel like this is where maybe like the skill gap kind of appears, because Lolguy and Skis are like pretty obvious number one, number two. But I'm curious what you think of number three
I think
is.
Zilly. I think Zilly is good. He's a good caller. His medic skill's definitely not on the level as the two above, but I think definitely he had that the big balls milk on fucking
Mm-hmm.
Snakewater. Remember 1 HP,
Yep.
but
Yep.
yeah, I definitely think that he deserves to be number three. He had a great game in the game against Morning Light where he had I think 3 less deaths than Azen
Mm-hmm.
and no drops. So great game from him. I think he's definitely super solid, and I still think he deserves to be up there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much to say on these medics just because it's not as flashy as some other classes. Um, but I think Zilly definitely. If it were Skis, he might have taken one more damage and dropped that. But I think Zilly's still good enough to be in the top three for me. So I agree with you. But let's go ahead and move on to number four. I can probably guess who you're gonna put. I think. Have you? Do you know what you're gonna put?
I think I do. I think I know what I'm gonna put.
I feel like we're gonna have the same answer. Do you want to say it on
Probably.
on go?
Yeah, I'm down for it.
3, 2, 1, go. Asian.
Asian.
Yep.
Asian. I need to ask him how you're supposed. I don't think he cares, but
Asian. Asian. See in chat.
I would say Asian.
Somebody
I would
ask
say
him.
Asian. I don't think he's
But
here. No.
yeah, I think he follows suit to Zilly pretty suitably. There's not really been any moments where I questioned his like positioning or his Ubers or stuff like that. But I think he's good enough to be number four for me. What do you
I
think?
don't. In some of these games, like I remember the beginning season, got outclassed. In this game, I guess you could say, because Asian, whatever Asian had 2 drops, 12 deaths. I think Zilly had 9, which was probably from the first half. I'm assuming the second half, both meds probably have very similar stats, but still 2 drops is pretty big in a close match like this. He got outmeted by Sky in the Global Clan match, 8 deaths to 12. Like, I think he's solid. Just I don't know. I think he maybe get thrown in some bad situations, but I still rate him pretty highly.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think he can get med diffed sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, if it kind of relied on medic alone, he might be put lower. But I
Given.
think I think you definitely have to give him some credit for his team's ability to shine, because we put him, I think, lower than most of his teammates. But
I think one thing is, to be fair, he plays on a really hard team to stay alive as med.
that
Like
is true.
Sandblast kind of takes people on adventures, and a lot of times, like I was saying, like Sandblast kind of goes off, does his thing, and that's why I keep saying Alpha needs to just come to Beam, be the second Beam scout. I'm betting his stats would be way better, and overall he just live longer, because Sandblast sometimes does see an opening and he just goes for it, which mainly as like if you're doing like super standard combo scout, that's like a no, but he
Mhm.
makes it work a lot of times. But so I think Aizen gets left at the dry a bit too much, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's definitely a solid 4.
Yeah.
And I want to see what you have to say for the you're saying Aizen too, right?
Yeah. I put Asian as well.
Okay.
For number 5, I I'll be honest, I don't really know who to put for these. I don't want to put either of them for number 6, but one of them's gotta bite the bullet. Number 5, I'm gonna put. How about while I formulate that, you say your number
Mm.
5.
I think I don't know. Sky had a really good game against Morning Light, but Virgil had a good game against Sky. Had a better KD, and I think Virgil definitely contributes a bit more to the comms. I don't know. Watching the stream, I think I'm a bit biased because I've seen the Sin Karma stream at least in the preseason and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, they did beat Global Clan, and Sky did play better, and or Virgil did play better. I think I'm gonna put Virgil at number 5. I think Virgil definitely deserves some props.
Yeah, I think I would actually agree with that. Looking over these stats from the past week, um, it just seems like Sky gets so unlucky with their deaths and like being caught out on a lot of these games. I'm not sure, like we said, I'm not sure if it relies on the team. Like Morning Light is hard for to really medic for. But I'm just gonna have to agree with you and put Virgil
Yeah,
as my number 5.
you forgot to put skis on your list as well.
Did I?
So yeah,
Oh, skis is my number 2.
yeah. I just saw
There we
it.
go. Sorry,
I
I
was
don't want
like,
to put skis number 6.
you
But
know what?
yeah,
Hot take skis is the worst medic in fight.
I don't think so. But yeah, Sky. Sorry, I'm gonna have to put you number 6. But do we have anything else to say for this class?
No, I don't. I think we're good there. Do we even want to answer this question? We're 50 minutes past what we usually plan, but I think we
What's
have
the
no time
question?
constraints. So
Yeah, we
yeah,
could do it.
you want to do the question? All right.
I don't
Let me
have
make
it.
sure I get the.
Hold on. Let me pull it up. Yeah. So the question comes from Kadath. How much allowance for individual or team playstyles is there at the top of the game? At what point does idiosyncrasy become just inferior? Although I'm pretty sure you misspelled it. Just become inferior.
Just triple checking. You know what? All right, I think I know what it means. I think I know what idiosyncrasy means. But so I get what he's saying because a lot of times you, at least as soldier, a lot of times you kind of got to throw out your individual playstyle out the window because a lot of times soldiers just a lot less useful. A lot of times combo scouts just tunnel soldiers, and it's kind of rough to be like yourself. I definitely get where he's coming from. I think there definitely is still room to play as yourself. It just depends on how your team plays. Like some teams, like for example, I think the best example right now is probably Wonderwall. I think they have like a team identity, while a team like Morning Light and Morning Light, maybe of course you have more individuals doing stuff than an entire group doing the same thing at the same time, which Froyo does, but probably a bit more of individual, but as a group. It's kind of weird, but I think there's definitely room, but it just depends how good you are at doing it while not costing your team by feeding just over and over again, going for plays. Because I've definitely, when I was newer, I definitely did my own thing, fed a couple times, but I think I've gotten better when I played. I still went for plays, but when it was right, played a team. You kind of got to find like a good happy medium, and you just got to do whatever your team asks from you, because in the end, it is a team game.
Yeah, they don't call it Team Fortress for nothing. I don't have as much to say about it as you do, just because I watch, I don't play. But I think one of the reasons why Froyo is so strong is you just watch like Banny's stream, and if one person says, "Okay, we're doing this in 5 seconds," nobody questions it. Everybody knows what to do, and I think that's also the reason why all these Froyo killer teams never really succeed. Is while their roster might be good, like individually, it doesn't really come together as a team.
No, I
And
think people don't build. I don't know. TF2 is not. I don't think it's advanced enough where people build teams to make a good team rather than they build a team to get the best players.
yeah,
Where I definitely could have seen like
I mean,
other teams in the past get like a better fits.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't have as much answers for this as you do, but yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. So, yeah. Anything else you want to touch on for this question?
No, I think that's it. I did have something I wanted to do, but we are way past time. Maybe at the end of the season when there's nothing happening
Okay.
or something,
Yeah,
we can do it. But I think that'd be a good thing to do before playoffs, like the week before, or when the season's over and all that. Maybe, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. So we can do that later. It's very exciting. I know you're not gonna mention it to anybody, but they'll just have to sit and wait for it. But other than that, I guess we can start the conclusion to this episode, doubling the time allotted for it. But
I think we're slowly going to just increase the time of it, where eventually it's going to be 4 hours.
yeah, 5 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah, it's getting up there. It started at 1.5,
Yep.
now 2. So,
All right, let's try to finish this off. Gosh, we talked about so much, but anyways, I think. Do you have any shout outs? I'm not really sure how to conclude. It's been a while since we last concluded. At least 2 hours.
shout out to Trip number 3 Roamer.
Shout out to Trip.
Stop sucking, bro.
Anyways, my shout out, everybody in chat. Thank you so much for coming by, staying by. I'm pretty sure we have like a whole new set of players than when we started this podcast. Whole new time zone, but shout out to you, Marmalou, for keeping this podcast alive, and shout out to everybody listening, everybody playing in RGL, and I think that's it from me, unless you have anything else you want to close on before I transition us out of this.
Yeah, I completely forgot I'm supposed to do a map review thing today, so I'll rush that, I guess, in like 5 minutes. But yeah, I think that's all I got. I think unless you got something else, unless there's some Highlander cast you want to,
Oh yeah, we have Highlander tomorrow. Not really sure who we're gonna play, but be sure to tune in 9:30. I think it's Asheville. Yeah, Asheville. Nighttime Asheville. But I think that's gonna be doing it from us. Any last words, Marmalou?
No, I think I'll try and cast 1 match at least this week, maybe 2, if I have time.
We're gonna get our money's worth, and we're gonna get you to cast as much as we can. But I think that does it from us tonight. Hope you all have a good rest of your night, and thanks for watching.